The Silent Bell Hotel. In the small town of Leadville, hidden among the forests of Colorado, stood an old hotel with a strange name, the Silent Bell. It was built at the end of the 19th century for gold miners, but since then its walls had absorbed more whispers than laughter. One October, when the forests were painted blood red, a young photographer named Thomas Gray arrived in Leadville. He was searching for forgotten corners of America for his new photo book. Locals warned him to stay away from the Silent Bell, but that only piqued his interest. The hotel greeted him with silence. No one at the reception, only an old guest book covered in dust and rusty keys hanging from nails. Thomas chose room 313, the last one on the second floor. That night he was awakened by a strange sound. A soft knock at the door, 3 short taps. Thomas went to the peephole. No one was there, but when he returned to bed, he noticed an indentation on the mattress, as if someone had just been sitting there. The next night, he noticed that the reflections in the hallway mirrors didn't match reality. In the reflection, someone stood behind him. When he turned around, the corridor was empty. On the third day, Thomas decided to leave. He came downstairs with his suitcase, but the front door was nailed shut from the inside. On the dusty floor nearby, someone had written in chalk, "Stay, we are not done with you yet." Thomas never left the Silent Bell. In the years that followed, tourists occasionally claimed they saw the figure of a man with a camera standing at the windows of the hotel, frozen in silent waiting. The past of the Silent Bell. In 1887, during the height of the gold rush, Leadville was a bustling town full of people chasing fortune. Among them was a man named Edward Mills, a former preacher expelled from his church for inappropriate practices. Rumor had it that Edward believed a soul could be preserved not through prayer, but by trapping its reflection. He built the Silent Bell atop an old Native American burial ground, claiming the hotel would be a refuge for weary souls. Instead, it became a trap. Guests complained of strange dreams and the feeling of another presence in their rooms. Some simply vanished, their belongings left untouched, while they themselves were never seen again. Police once raided the hotel. In the basement, they found a hidden room with walls covered in mirrors. On the floor were strange homemade cameras, built from designs found among Mills's belongings. These devices could photograph in total darkness, capturing things unseen by the naked eye. Edward Mills was never found. His last diary entry read, "When they take my body, I will remain here, in the reflections, and my children, those I have saved, will stay with me forever." Since then, the Silent Bell stood empty for years. Sometimes new owners tried to restore it, but disappearances, strange noises, and the sound of a faint, invisible bell would always return. By the 1920s, the hotel was a place of legend and fear. Few dared even to approach it, yet the building stood untouched by time, protected by something unseen. Now anyone who crosses its threshold becomes part of Mills's collection, adding to the gallery of lost souls trapped in photographs and mirrors. Legends of the strangest guests. 1. The Woman in Black. Her name was Agatha Crane. In 1911, she arrived in Leadville with nothing but a single suitcase and a mysterious letter she clutched at all times. Locals whispered she was the widow of a miner who had died in a nearby abandoned shaft. But the strangest thing was, Agatha never spoke, not a single word. She stayed in room 206. Every night guests could hear her pacing back and forth, the soft rustle of her black dress filling the silence. One morning her door was found locked from the inside. When they broke it open, the room was empty. Only a message was scrawled on the wall in chalk. "I found him. Now we are together." Since then, the figure of a woman in a long black dress is sometimes seen in the hotel's corridors or reflected in mirrors. She stands still, but if you turn your back, she seems to be a little closer. It's said that if you look into her eyes, she will show you what you fear losing the most. 2. The Ghost Child, a boy named Oliver. In 1924, the Harper family, father, mother, and their little son Oliver, stopped at the Silent Bell on their way westward, seeking a new life. Everything was fine until one day, during lunch in the hotel's restaurant, Oliver simply vanished. One moment he was there, the next he was gone, erased from reality. The desperate parents searched every room, screaming his name, but never found a trace. On the third day, they discovered strange writing on the dining room wall. Oliver is playing hide and seek, forever. Sometimes guests hear the sound of children's laughter in the hotel. Light, rapid footsteps patter through empty hallways. Occasionally, an old worn-out ball rolls across the floor by itself. It is said that if you whisper, "Oliver, let's play," he will answer. But those who have heard his reply say they felt a small, cold presence behind them afterward, even when they were alone.